So before attending GVSU, which was the only school I applied to, by the way, got in, was like, all right, see ya, adios. Before attending GVSU, I attended a public school from like preschool to second grade in Columbus, Ohio, because that's where I'm from. Then I attended a private Lutheran school from third to eighth grade in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And then after middle school and after that time in my private school, I ended up attending my local public school, which is about 2 miles away from where my house was in Milan, Michigan, which was Milan High School. Super easy, right? And the funny thing is, all three of those they hit the rural, urban, and suburban school district. My elementary school in Columbus was in a very urban district. It was like heart of Columbus. Loved it, but yeah. And then my private school was definitely more in a suburban school district, I would say. I mean, yeah, Ann Arbor, suburban. It wasn't like in the heart of Ann Arbor. And it really focused on just like the communities like surrounding it, if that makes sense. And then my high school was rural, straight up, 100%. Not necessarily where it was located, but just kind of where the school district like surrounded was just very rural community, I guess. I think that my education before college prepared me for college by kind of getting me into a groove of, okay, you have to set off a specific amount of time to be able to do this, to be able to do that. Like, your day is not just for you. You have responsibilities that you need to be able to take care of. And I think that, especially playing a sport in high school and being a part of different committees as well as having your extracurricular work really did help me kind of get into that zone that, all right, there are things you have to do, things you have to complete in order to succeed. And I think that that's one way that it helped prepare me for college, because in college you kind of have to do the same thing. You have to know that there are certain things to get done at certain times and be able to do them. Not perfect at it. Nobody is perfect. I'm definitely not perfect at it. I'm trying to be better. You know, we grow. We try. Three things that I wish I had learned or knew about or knew more about in my education growing up is any adult finance tax stuff. Any of that. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing when it comes to it. I am almost 22 years old. I still don't understand it. I wish there was like a course or like a certain section of a course in high school that would have kind of helped me understand it a little bit more from like an adult, like just a United States citizen perspective. Because right out of high school, if you're going to college, you're literally signing a contract saying that, oh, hey, I'm going to pay this much money and it's going to put me in debt for years and years and years on end. So I feel like I should know a little bit more information about my finances and about taxes and whatnot to be able to set myself up for success in the future. So that's one thing I wish I had learned more about in my education growing up. Another one that I wish I had learned more about would be the kind of like just the cultures of the world. We had world history, we had all of that. You kind of get like a glimpse into them, but I think it's more from like United States like perspective on how we were involved with this country, how we perceive this culture. I wish it was more of an open and inclusive environment that we got to learn about these things in. And another thing that I wish I had learned more about in my education growing up is how to interact with others. I feel like I do a good job. I'm a communications major, so I kind of have to do a good job with communicating with people, but I also think that one thing that I could have learned more about is like empathy and sympathy. You learn that in other ways outside of school, but I feel like some people aren't getting it outside of school. Some people don't play a sport. Some people don't have those connections in their life where they're able to learn those skills from. And I feel like if that was a little bit more integral in our education plans, like the lesson plans and stuff, or at least we had a certain understanding of it from teachers, I feel like that would have just been nicer for a lot of people, including myself, to just be able to kind of prepare yourself to be a well-rounded, like intellectual in both, we'll say, street smarts and book smarts. Street smarts, I think, is more of the emotional kind of understanding of the world, not going into secondary education or post-secondary education with this idea, like being so oblivious and being so obtuse to everything that goes on in the world and other people's feelings. So yeah. 3 things that I would like to see changed are the kind of dynamics between students and teachers. I feel like once you get to high school, like if we're talking specifically about high school, teachers are made fun of. I've seen a lot of experiences. I've experienced a lot of things. I haven't done it myself, but I've experienced a lot of situations where certain students would have it out with teachers as if they were just another student in the building. You know, they didn't really understand that this is somebody who has studied, literally gone to school, what you plan to do, and has devoted however much of their time for what little pay in order to make sure that you get the education you need. So I wish that would be one thing that could be changed. I wish our funding for sports could go to multiple other areas, just because our sports are not the best. We think we have this all-star winning fucking football team. We don't. Our football team's not great. They really aren't. We're a big football school, but our team's not great. Yet all of the money that we have gets funded towards that. I also wish that one thing I would like to advocate for is, I never went to school at the middle school, the public middle school, but I did swim when I was younger I was a competitive swimmer, and we used to swim at the public middle school that was within my Milan school district. And that place is just so old and so run down, and the pool is just horrible. And I just wish, I would like to advocate for more funding and more attention to go towards the younger kid schools. We have like 2 elementary schools, 1 middle school, and then 1 high school in our district. And I wish we put a lot of funding into expanding the high school, but now I've learned that the expansion of the high school, they don't even use it anymore. It's got all this new tech and whatnot, but like they don't even use it for the purpose it was originally built for. So kind of sucks. But I wish that they would be smarter in their funding and put it more towards the younger kids' schools, just because those are the kids that you kind of like, you have to go to school, right? But the younger kids are excited to go to school. High schoolers don't care. They really don't care. So I feel like making things better for the younger ones would just, I think that's just going to be great, which means like more new technology, new infrastructure, buildings, and making sure that these kids have what they need, just because they are the future, right? We are the future, but like also they are the future of your school district. They could choose to go somewhere else. They could move, make them want to stay. Excuse me. I think the 3 biggest issues in our American educational system would be funding. Funding is just a huge one. Another one would be staffing issues. And I also think another thing that in our educational system could be, I'd say, not bullying, but lack of security. Let's say that, because there's a whole lot of that going on. I think that one way we can fix the financial part of it is at least getting people to a common understanding that teachers, you are putting the health and well-being and intellect of your children into the hands of teachers for hours upon hours a day, every single day or every weekday, for how many months of the year, repeatedly for 12 years. You would think that you would want to treat those people with the utmost respect and at least pay them like they deserve to be. And I feel like one way we can fix that is to get that fix the financial aspect of it, is to have people understand that idea that these kids are the future of our society. So more of the money that we would be putting towards, I don't know, let's say a new highway or something, whatever, I don't know. Money that would be from taxes used by the government for whatnot. See, I don't even understand it. That's something I never really learned. I still don't understand it that much. But I think that any of that money should be more divided towards schools. At least public schools to start, because private schools have private funding, at least most of them. And so I think starting from the ground up, starting with the schools that need the help most, especially the ones that are torn down, beat up, all that, fix that. I think staffing is an issue, and I think it's an issue because of the payment, of the financial aspect of it. Nobody wants to work for that amount of money. Pay them more. And I think the security thing is just something that the security and I think there are ways to combat security issues in schools, but I also think there are ways to stop it, to just stop the fact that we would need security in schools, or metal detectors, or those little rooms that I saw a TikTok of it, a room that's literally folds into the wall and then folds out from the wall. It's a bulletproof shelter. The fact that needs to be made, I think, is just absolutely crazy, and I'm not going to get into it, but I think that is more of a government issue, more stricter regulations. I don't really know what else to say about it, and it might make me a little upset, and this has been going on for 13 minutes already. Okay. I think our government should play a role of funding, a role of kind of using the money and the resources that we have as a nation to be able to enrich and grow the children that we have. The children that are here that are going to be the people who run this country, the people who are going to be paying into the government. So you think that if we're going to pay into the government as adults, we should have been gotten paid into by the government as children. So, yep, that's my spiel. It's a lot. Most of it doesn't make sense. I got hockey in the background. I got distracted, so I apologize, but thank you. I'll see everybody in class Thursday.